taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
Yeah. What's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. Yo, I'm your host for tonight, Pacheco, New England representative. And as always, I got my man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, yo, what's good? You already know who this is. Your boy King People, they can box in the building. Ring Game Radio all day. Let's go.
Yo, who's banned from the bodega today?
Oh, yeah, I do have a banning today. That son of a gun that ducked my boy Hitman, he gets banned for life.
Yo, I saw, because I remember, Saturday I saw the tweet. I was like, oh, damn. Because I know that's a thing. Like, sometimes motherfuckers be on there, just be like, either they can't make the weight or whatever, or they have some horse shit, and they do it. Because I know my brother does amateur MMA, and on the eve of his first fight, his opponent is bowed out. Shit was terrible.
I did not realize that was a thing where, like, amateurs really always just duck out at the last minute. Like, that's crazy. But that's some puss shit. So, yeah, he's banned. No more of him. You can have cowards around like that.
Straight up facts, yeah. I go like you do all that training, and then you have to obviously make the weight and shit. You do that, and then your opponent doesn't show up to fight, and then of course you drove all the way to Providence, right? Yeah, to support.
Yeah. So, was not happy about that. So,
yeah.
Screw that guy.
Yeah, no, but Karma will get his ass in the end too. Just like Karma got one particular former super lightweight champion who we'll talk about much later in the cast. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I got my other man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's fly? It's Conscious Pilot, the West Coast Avenger, preparing for liftoff. Ring It Radio. Three's a crowd, but let's get it for now.
Yes, sir. You know, Conscious Pilot stays elevated above the clouds and shit. But yeah, you know, Shuttleworth will join us a little bit later in the podcast or whatever. But yeah, before we start up, you know, I gotta say, you know, in case you haven't noticed in our chats, you know, and you know, we finally got our supers enabled. So yeah, you know, if you feel even more generous, you know, now we got more than the PayPal. If you feel generous, you know, if you want to do a super chat, super sticker, or whatever, man. Feel free to, if you want to support, feel free to do so. You know what I'm saying? We like I say, it's a milestone for us because Lord knows how much work we've put into our channel and to our content and everything like that. So, you know, it's something. So yeah, like obviously if you see that, you know, yeah, feel free. Because I know in the past people have actually asked us for that. So now that we have it, it's there. So you know, take advantage. Oh man, no, but yeah, no, it was fairly. It was actually a very good week in the boxing. I'm not gonna lie. It was, on paper we got, we had the first PBC on Prime card, and on paper it was just like, but it actually turned out to be fades, including one of the most bloodiest fights I've seen in quite some time. But we'll get more into that, as well as the TR doubleheader. But the first fight I want to get into, though, because it was actually a pretty hard fight. It was like, you know what? Let's touch upon it, because I know I watched it. I know Pilot watched it. P watched it too. So we're talking about the fight that was on Peacock, if you have it, between Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke. Now, obviously, these are two domestic level British heavyweights. But they all have their reputations. I mean, Frazer Clarke was a highly talented amateur, and Wardley is a newcomer to the game. With the 17-0 and 16 knockouts. Defense, boxing skill be damned. The motherfucker hits hard as shit.
both guys lack defense, but
yeah, the defense was none of that. But both guys could absolutely crack, particularly, especially Wardley. Because Wardley on more occasions than not has gotten himself has been in trouble, has been wobbled, has been cuts and all that stuff like that. But his power just saves him. Now, I mean, I know this was pretty much like the big selling point for Peacock. I think Boxer was like, this is like either their first or their second card on Peacock. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think it's the second. I was trying to find the link. I ain't gonna lie, but I realized I have Peacock. Oh shit! It's actually because they weren't showing that shit for nothing. I was like, what the fuck is this shit at?
Because I remember months ago they said they had the agreement because they were gonna show Box was gonna show. It's very random too, and I have my thing. And like I said, for someone who watches sports on streaming apps, Peacock. I have irritation with that because considering that. I gotta watch the first Eagles game on Peacock, because of course while they're playing in Brazil, which both things I'm not really happy on doing. So Peacock is just like has been slightly annoying me, but Peacock, obviously owned by NBC, has always had like inroads to actually showing boxes. So just the fact it was just that random that they're gonna show boxing on a Sunday, no less. And we were treated in the main event to an old school slugfest. Honestly, it's not hyperbole to say if that was the best heavyweight fight of the year, because it was, even though we are only 4 months into the year. But sometimes in the heavyweight division, you don't need A levels or even B level heavyweights to produce action. Like sometimes even the ones that we consider mid or C level or average, sometimes if you put the right ones together, they'll produce something. And that was what Wardley and what Clarke did. Wardley, honestly, Wardley, they'll both lose their zeros in some time, particularly Wardley. But man, for the first 6 rounds, you got to be careful with both these guys because I think they were just cracking each other with some serious shots. Clarke with the heavy right hands.
Wardley's nose was fucked up, dog. Earlier.
Wardley's nose got fucked up ASAP, and stay fucked because clearly, and it was a broken nose. It was a really broken nose because that shit never stopped bleeding. Between that and then his eyes got trademarked. He was in a as some of the English boxers used to say, he was in an appalling state. Before, too early in the fight, though. But he showed fucking heart, though. He showed incredible heart. What round did he drop Clarke in again? I forgot.
Was it 3 or 4?
I believe it was the 4th or 5th round.
Maybe, yeah. It was close to the midway.
Yeah, because I know when Clarke went down, because I know he took a deep breath, but it was near the end of the rounds, which. If it wasn't for that, Wardley probably would have gotten the stoppage there. But then after that, like I said, it got into a little bit more of the attrition, especially when both of these guys kind of their gas, they start hitting the wall. And that second win for neither of these guys came. Because basically it got to the point where they were standing in front of each other and just letting, Clarke was letting loose some right hands, but he was also finding a little.
It was the 5th round, by the way. He got knocked down at the end of the 5th.
Oh, in the fifth, okay.
Yeah.
I was impressed with because I expected Wardley. I've been kind of high on Wardley on this show a little bit.
You have, yeah.
Not high like he's a future champ.
I've never understood why.
No, but I'm not saying not like I'm saying he's a future champ, but maybe a contender one day. You know how UK heavyweights kind of get the easy route sometimes. But anyway, I was impressed. I thought he was gonna get Clarke out. But I was impressed with Clarke. I'm not gonna lie, a little defensively, a little bit.
Yeah, Clarke definitely showed. Clarke only had 8 pro fights or whatever. But honestly, it was the boxing that that kept him in the fight. Because like I said, but the thing with Clarke though was when he gassed. His offense became it was just one punch at a time, and that was the shit because Clarke went a hard shot, but then he would be too gassed to follow up with it, and then Wardley would either tie him up or fire back, and the opportunity would be lost. So, and it was the shit like that. It was kind of it was like God damn it, you had the feeling that this fight they could end this shit at any given time.
Anytime. The first round for Clarke, he gave it to Wardley pause in the first round. I was like, God damn, I was actually impressed with that. But yeah, it was a war of attrition, man. There was ebbs and flows. I felt like in that fight.
Yeah, Clarke's right hands and also the uppercuts too. The uppercuts were landing on Wardley. I think wasn't it an uppercut that broke his nose?
I think it was an uppercut, but it was obviously accumulation. But I think it was an uppercut that really fucked him up. Yeah,
because it was just like, I mean, I'll say that even as they gassed, it was just like, oh geez, like, okay, who's gonna will? Like, they stayed on their feet, and you gotta admire guts like that. Like, and the fun thing too is in the 12th round, Clarke landed another shot that had Wardley like moonwalking into the ropes hard. But you saw Clarke like take a big deep breath. He couldn't do anything to follow up, and then the shit was kind of lost, and that was just kind of and that was just the kind of the ebb and flow of that fight. But when that final bell rang, like you could tell, like they were just collapsing and heaving and stuff like that. And I personally thought that that Wardley took an L, a close L. Like, I mean, I had like Clarke winning by 1, and I thought that was going to be the case, but I mean, it turned out to be a split decision draw. The draw card was basically the deduction and the knockdown saved Wardley from his first loss. So, but yeah, like I said, kudos to both guys for I mean, domestic level scraps be damned. Like like the ebb and flow of that one, made it a very notable fight. So yeah, you can't. I mean, like I said, even if you're not the biggest fan of those two fighters, like you have to. It's like they put on a really bloody, brutal fight.
I don't say it's a classic fight, but it was a best heavyweight fight this year. Not saying much 4 months in, but it was it was a war, and the timeline. Everybody was really, like, oh shit, talking.
Yeah, no, they were, and like I said, because you don't have too many fights. I mean, I would say for a fight of the year candidate, like all the fight of the year candidates pretty much have been sub 140 this year so far. The best fights of the year,
definitely.
So the fact that we actually have one that was actually above the heavyweights, okay, that's what we got. But yeah, now in terms of the future, I mean, for both guys, I mean, Wardley and Clarke, I mean, like I said, I just don't see them keeping their zeros much longer, particularly Wardley. Like, Wardley's defense and his stamina is always going to be a huge liability.
Yeah. But the British heavyweights, they kind of get a little bit more rope and leeway than American and other. What I'm saying? Like, Brits love their boxing, so I think a rematch down the line. But that fight took a lot out of those guys. Like, I'd wait down the line. I'd see,
Yeah, I mean,
not an immediate rematch. That's like ruining their careers. I feel like if you put them back in the ring, because you saw Clarke drop to the floor right after the bell ended. He just dropped to the sat down in his coat, like on the ground. I was like, oh shit, is he alright? Is he good?
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about too with like heavyweights in this era. I don't know what it is, but they don't see like the conditioning that they have. I don't know if it's just not the road work or they don't do enough of it, but they just never seem to be in ring condition to be able to go rounds. And ironically, Usyk has done it, and surprisingly, Fury has done it without gassing. But that's a whole can of worms. Like, because how people get when they talk about Fury, and he's going 12 rounds and he's not like struggling. That's a whole different thing. But it's just like, it seems like more often than not, like the majority of these heavyweights just be gassing, like
be gassing. Be gassing. I mean, they're big boys and everything, but back in the day, we were spoiled with the '90s heavyweights. Niggas could go, 12 in classics all day, every day. So it's like shit.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, hopefully, it's just like, I mean, if Clarke was like 266, like he shouldn't be 266. Like he should probably be like 235 to 240, maybe somewhere around there. And Wardley should. I mean, Wardley could stand to cut a little bit too, cut a little bit more. Like maybe, and I'd say Wardley cut 10 pounds, and it'll probably make a huge difference on his on his physique and on his conditioning though. But yeah, definitely kudos to both men. Like, cause yeah, that was an unexpectedly hard fight to watch, and it was an entertaining fight and a brutal fight to watch at the same time.
Did y'all see Ben Whitaker or not?
Yeah, well, I saw Ben and I saw the co-main. I was not I'm not. Let's put it this way, and this is one thing. Like, you can do all the show-off shit you want, but if you're not even dropping your opponent, or you're not stopping your opponent, he did drop him in the
first round. He did drop, but I know what you mean. He didn't stop him.
Yeah, if you're not stopping him, then it's just an exercise in it's just wasted punches. Yeah. Like, like I get it. You got the social media buzzing and stuff like that. People want to see you style on dude. But this particular time was, even when he was doing that shit, his opponent was still cracking him with shots. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. I mean, he was let him hit at first. I mean, I think Ben, I mean, again, like, British boxing, they get a little bit of leeway. I see Ben has skills. I mean, he's athletic, good instincts, defense is all right. He got a little bit of pop. But I think, he could be a Buwasi level kind of guy in the future. I don't see why not. He got the pedigree. I'm just saying he can, but obviously he's got to keep stepping up. But
yeah, I mean, for all I gotta say, because I wasn't impressed, cut this. I was like, cut the shit out. If you're not letting the punches start really hurt your opponent to get him out of there, then it's just a waste. Because I'm like you, like the game games, you gotta win. Like, I mean, not everyone is meant to be fucking Hamed or Pernell Whitaker. Like, you guys, you got to actually do it, and they're doing it against top competition. These motherfuckers, he's doing it against jobbers. So
everything's gonna get chinned, eventually. But I mean, boxers can promote themselves, so I give them props for because literally none of the niggas on my timeline would ever brought him up until that last fight, and he's got followers. So I get it. I mean, you gotta market yourself. I think if he was with Eddie Hearn, because I heard he might be a free agent. I feel like if Eddie Hearn got him, he might. Eddie Hearn does move his prospects pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, Eddie will probably put him in a couple of good showcases to see what everyone else can. Because right now, I mean, obviously, Eddie has more of a reach now worldwide with, obviously with the DAZN deal and everything than Boxer does. So it's like, but yeah, Ben has to understand something like the showing off the styling is cool, but you gotta put your opponent away. Because because if you're not doing that, then what are we doing? Like, no one wants to watch 8 rounds of that. Like, no, like you gotta do that. But yeah, no, and then just another chat shout out, Rob D, what's good? Miss 72, what's good? LB Shuttleworth the God will be joining us a little shortly. Join us probably in a few. He'll be joining us. But if you guys didn't see it before, we got the we have the super chat popping or whatever. So it took us a while to get that, but we got that. So if you feel a little generous, want to support, it's right there. But yeah, and we're also going a little outward because, like I said, we do want to talk about the TR in the PBC card, but we'll talk about the Matchroom card that's coming up, because I think that's the only boxing this coming weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
I will not be watching because I will be busy at Mania in Philly. So
yes, King V will be in the link where the one-time Super Bowl champion Eagles are, kind of reside or whatever. But unlike the Ben card, that was Pilot's first card, where you can say it was more of like a WWF showcase, this one isn't really that. Particularly, obviously we have Richardson Hitchins and Diego Pacheco. Those two are prospects, are highly talented prospects in Matchroom, and both, particularly Pacheco, might actually be might be a future champion in the making. Fortunately, my man Pilot, he did get credentialed, but fortunately he can't not go to this one. But it's all good. What I'm saying, like there's always gonna be more events to go to. But Richardson Hitchins, I mean, obviously everyone knows this story. He went, Richardson Hitchins was with Mayweather Promotions, and he asked for his release, and then he signed with Eddie, and Eddie has been kind of giving him main event places, which obviously the goal is to be fighting a 140 champ, of which Eddie does have one of them in his stable and has a good relationship with another one. So, Richardson Hitchins though is going to be facing someone who has been IBF Mando for quite some time too, and Gustavo Lemos. And truthfully, that's actually that's an actual fight. I know
that's a 35. So I mean, this is his first fight at 40. So,
excuse me.
Wasn't he was a Mando? You're talking about Gustavo Lemos being the Mando, or
Lemos? No, Lemos was at 35. You're right.
He was a Mando for 30, but this is his first fight at 40. So
yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, you're right though. And funny things too, as much as Hitchins is talking about Lemos, not being in this weight class or anything like that, I will say this though: Lemos is a tougher fighter. I mean, Lemos is known because he knocked out Lee Selby and put him into retirement. If you've seen that fight, it was actually pretty one-sided. He beat the shit out of Lee Selby. Lemos is all pressure. He's a volume puncher. He's a volume puncher with absolute power. So Hitchins, if Hitchins wants to really make a statement, because everyone, we saw Hitchins. He took a big step up in competition in decisioning Jose Zepeda, but to be honest with you, I don't think Hitchins gained any new fans with that performance. Because, I was kind of angry because, I like Zepeda. But for the fact that he kind of did what he did for 12 rounds and didn't put him away, it was kind of like, and I think Hitchins himself acknowledged that this is show business, and then you got to show and prove. You got to actually, you got to entertain the crowd.
You got to get people out. I mean, he's kind of a sweet scientist. He's good. He's really good, but knockout sell, bro. Unless you're like, special talent like Haney. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah. No, Hitchins is absolutely good. Like I said, and like I said, and like I want him to actually get a title, but yeah, like. Obviously, boxing. But if you have that tag, if you get the tag of someone that's that's not entertaining to watch, it's kind of hard to shake that.
Yep, it is.
Just ask Shakur Stevenson. Like,
would you say Hitchins is a top 5 guy at 140?
No, if you want to put him at top 10, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's easily top 10, but
Yeah. Now Hitchins is going to have to body somebody serious in order for that to go down, though. But like I said, Lemos is. I mean, like I said, if Lemos did what he did against Lee Selby and body him, like Hitchins is in for a fight. Like that's not even a thing. Like he's truly in for a fight. And then you got Diego Pacheco, who's, like I said, I mean, if there's gonna be another world champion in Eddie's stable, it's gonna be that guy. And basically, if I was Eddie, I'd make a fight of him and Berlanga, but Berlanga probably doesn't want that smoke because, if Berlanga faces Pacheco, that shit's all over for him.
Oh yeah,
it's like
Pacheco bodies Berlanga, bro.
What's that?
Pacheco Berlanga, bro.
Yeah, no, Pacheco will absolutely body dude. Like that's not even a question. That's not even a question in my mind or whatever. So. He has a guy that if you watch the Overtime boxing series on there, Shawn McCalman, that you see. Shawn McCalman, like I said, is a pretty slick fighter, and he's very physical too. But Andrew, Pacheco is everything they try to make Berlanga to be. Berlanga's been compared to everybody, bro. Every fucking body. Except they treat him like a star, but he's more on the jobber side. But they keep extending his 15 minutes per se.
Get the New York Puerto Rican and friends with Fat Joe and Tracy Morgan, that Brooklyn shit. So it's like New York shit, should I say? So
yeah, exactly. So, but like I said, Pacheco. I mean, in this fight though, although McCalman is quality, like I don't think Pacheco will have too much trouble with him per se. He shouldn't, And then the rest of the guys, Mark Castro and Galel Yafai and Sky Nicholson too. Well, also on there, she's going for her belt. So it's also it's a pretty decent card. It's a pretty decent card for Matchroom. Like I said, it's the only boxing for next weekend. So like I said, if you're chilling, you're not doing much, we got that's there. But I wouldn't be surprised if at least one upset happens on that card. And probably I'm looking at the cat who Mark Castro was facing, because Mark Castro is facing someone that could probably knock him around if he's not careful. But yeah, no, it should be an entertaining card. It's obviously a come down from the PBC and the TR shit, which we're about to get into. But yeah, no, like that. But just want to touch upon that. So my man Shuttleworth, came on there. He's light skinned late tonight though, but he's here though. What's good, Shuttleworth?
Hey, what it do? Yeah, my bad. I'm late. Salute Rob D. What's good? Destiny Child's missing a member tonight. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to the 702. I know she'll probably hear this later or whatnot, but y'all, she be having these bars when the nigga be missing. I ain't gonna lie. Mm-hmm. It's to you Thursday. Yeah, for sure.
She probably thinks you're Beyonce. She probably thinks you're the Beyonce.
Damn, Pacheco is everything they tried making Berlanger out to be. Yeah, salute Android. Yeah, that's facts.
Mm-hmm.
So what y'all talked about so far, if y'all don't mind me asking?
No, we talked about the Wardley fight, and then we just touched upon the Matchroom card for next weekend, because we figured get those out of the way before we go into TR and then the PBC on Prime recaps.
I think they got Sky Nicholson on there too, and Mark Castro. It's a pretty good card. It's one of Eddie's better American offerings this year.
Yeah, one thing is just because it also got highlighted too, because Eddie got Kevin Rooney Jr., who's a really underrated matchmaker, and Eddie needs to fuck with him more than some of the matchmakers that are making some of his WWF or UK showcase cards, because obviously a WWF superstar card. They happen, and sometimes they have to happen because some of these fighters have to be saved from themselves, though. But like I said before, if you're trying to make inroads into America, you got to make some competitive cards where where some of your fighters might have a chance of actually getting the ass beat. Yeah, it's the name of the game.
That's where I can only think of one good of those, UK Matchroom cards a year. It feels like one pretty, relatively speaking, good one.
Yeah, and funny thing is, it never used to be that way. Before the zone, Eddie's UK, even after the zone, Eddie's UK cards used to be on point because Eddie had the right UK talent that was entertaining those cards, especially when he did that first Mandingo card during the pandemic. He was shining with those cards, and the American cards were
they were hit or miss, man.
They were very hit or miss, but the UK cards were on point. But the balance now is all the good Eddie cards are in Mexico. The Mexico cards, Eddie has a golden touch. He has the Midas touch with those shits. The UK and America are now.
But that's like when niggas used to say Eric Spoelstra was a good coach, but it's like he really isn't.
No, he's a good coach, though. He's a good coach, though.
Fuck out of here.
No, he made two finals. He made two finals after LeBron. What you mean, though? he lost.
He had to grow into that. Niggas, dude, I'm from fucking down here, bro.
That's fair.
Niggas was calling him a great coach back when he first started.
That's not the case. He had to get
the he didn't become a great coach until 5 years ago.
Yeah, true. That's true.
But I had to hear this shit this whole time, man. But yeah, it's one of those, look, you got Mexico, bro. They love to fight. Come on, man. How you gonna fuck that up?
Yeah, and truthfully, it's been hard. But Eddie, though, like I said, Eddie has been golden with those Mexico cards. Those Mexico cards are pretty much
exactly Rome top 5. Spoelstra is a fucking video guy.
He wasn't.
And they elevate this nigga to some great coach. Nigga.
He was initially, but he's.
Supposedly you have to get it how you live. Sometimes, man, you one minute you in the mailroom, next you're a CEO of a company, my nigga. That's how it goes.
I don't know too many black people who get that type of fucking.
What did Kanye West say? They're working. What do you say, Kanye? Say working the fries. Trying to get to the drive-thru, working the drive-thru, mopping the floor, working the fries. They got working.
I guess that's a Thursday subject because I only wish black people could damn dream like that.
It's the Filipino bias, kind of. He said, but I also think.
Yeah, I know. Nigga.
Also, he's again, he took two teams to the finals, and he's been a top 5-ish coach for a while now. I know, like you said, he grew into it, but he's his teams are always competitive and shit. So.
Yeah, I mean that happens when you have Pat Riley and as your basketball operations is nearby.
And you got all these damn Hall of Famers, just kicking it at the damn office and shit. And former players and veterans, like, don't get me started. But.